My Vision on Teaching by Caitlin Werleman. I will be talking about the Dutch educational system, the roles of a teacher, interculturalism, CLT, and my learning question. The Dutch educational system is divided in different educational levels. Each of these educational levels caters to different types of students based on their abilities, interests, and career aspirations. Teaching at each educational level requires different skills and approaches as a teacher. VMBO-BK focuses on practical skills, while VMBO-TL combines practical and theoretical education. Teachers need to connect theory to practical applications. HAVO prepares students for higher education with a focus on academics and critical thinking. Teachers excel in teaching academic subjects. VWO is academically rigorous, preparing students for university. Teachers must have deep subject knowledge and challenge high-achieving students. MBO offers vocational tertiary education, providing specialized training for careers. Instructors need industry expertise for practical, job-relevant training. As a future Spanish teacher, I would prefer to teach in MBO because it's all about practical training for real jobs. Students there have clear career goals, which makes teaching interesting. Also, the classes are usually smaller, so you can give more attention to each student. Teaching in MBO is rewarding because you help students gain valuable skills for their future career. To be a successful teacher, it's vital to recognize the importance of all 5 roles. Each role plays a unique part in effective teaching. The most crucial role is being a host because it involves connecting with students, which is vital for a successful lesson. The presenter's role is important for capturing students' attention and establishing a structured framework for learning. As a didactic teacher, you demonstrate your subject knowledge, teaching skill, and guide both individual and group learning. In the role of a pedagogue, you create a positive and safe learning environment, address inappropriate behavior, and maintain order. Lastly, as I concluded, you reflect on the lessons, process, and content with students, helping them understand their progress and self-directed learning. Considering these roles, I'll focus more on being a good host because it's the foundation for effective teaching and student engagement. Being a host means making a strong connection with the students, which is really necessary for a successful lesson. It's about creating a friendly and welcoming atmosphere in the classroom where students feel comfortable. This initial connection is like the foundation for everything else that happens in class. When students feel like they belong and the teacher cares about them, they are more likely to participate and learn. Also, a teacher who's a good host can understand what each student needs and can teach better. So I'll focus on being a good host because it's the first step to being a great teacher. Intercultural teaching is important because it helps students from different cultures learn together in a positive way. It recognizes that our classrooms are more diverse with students from various backgrounds. As a teacher, I would respect and understand my students' cultures, include diverse ideas and topics in my teaching, encourage students to talk openly and learn from each other's backgrounds. Teach students how to understand and work with people from different cultures. Create a classroom where everyone feels welcome no matter where they come from. By doing this, I can help my students become better at getting along with people from different cultures, which is important in our global world. Communicative language teaching. CLT is an approach to language teaching and learning that emphasizes the use of language for real communication and meaningful tasks rather than just focusing on isolated grammar rules and vocabulary. CLT places a strong emphasis on developing students' ability to use language in practical, everyday situations. The 3 principles that I consider most important and I would implement in my teaching as a language teacher are: the first principle: I would structure my lessons around tasks that mimic real-life situations. For example, I might design lessons where students need to make travel plans, order food in a restaurant, or solve everyday problems using the target language. By doing so, students will learn language in a practical context, making the learning process more effective and meaningful. Also, I will use the principle number 3. To provide rich language input to my students, I would incorporate authentic materials into my lessons. This could include using real-world resources like new articles, podcasts, or videos. I would also emphasize using the target language extensively in the classroom, while being mindful of students' comprehension levels. This would create an immersive language learning environment. The last is the principle number 5. I would promote cooperative and collaborative learning in my classroom. I would organize activities where students work in pairs or small groups to complete tasks, encouraging active communication and interaction. Additionally, I would recognize the significance of teaching students interaction and provide guidance and support to help students reach their language learning potential. By implementing these principles, I would aim to create a dynamic and immersive language learning environment that focuses on meaningful communication, rich language input, and collaborative learning experience for my students. Learning question. I would like to learn more about the Dutch educational system, specifically the levels I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. As I mentioned before, I would prefer to teach at MBO based on what I have learned in books and classes. I believe it aligns with what I idealize in my mind based on my classroom learning. Practice will determine whether my preference change or, on the contrary, become even more stronger, and I will be much certain about what I want in the future. The title of this presentation is My Vision on Teaching, and something that will help me gain a better understanding or vision is practice. Through practice, I want to delve deeper into all levels of the Dutch educational system that I can, so I can have a clearer vision as a teacher. This was my vision on teaching. Thank you very much for your attention.